How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. So first of all, thank you so very much for this live. We're honored to have you on board.
Thank you for asking me. I'm super excited to talk to you.
So we have received so many questions for you. So we have shortlisted a few questions out of them. So before we ask all the questions, I would like to know that how was your day as of now, and what did you do in your whole day today?
So, as it's the weekend, I've got a break from university, which is nice. So, I went to play some games in a boom battle bar. So, we did some golf and some pool. But I've really been looking forward to this. So, I was like, I must get home. I've got to get ready. Been really eager to do this. Yeah. What did you do with your day?
So my day was amazing. Again, I slept whole day.
Yeah.
So I was just, I was just completely finishing my all the hangover from last week. So yeah, I just slept whole day.
So, you've got plenty of energy for this.
Yeah, because last week was so tiring for me, and the Saturday was also tiring for me. So I just had this thing in mind that I have to sleep whole day today
I'm glad
before
you've,
the interview.
yeah. I'm glad you've got your rest now.
Yeah, I did. So, first of all, congratulations that you have received the chance to represent your beautiful country at Miss World. That is the biggest pageant in the pageant industry. So, my first question comes for this. How does it feel when you have received the opportunity to represent your country? And because, to put in the sash of your country across your chest, it's a huge responsibility. Also, a pressure as well. So, how are you dealing with all
Definitely.
the things?
I think I'm ready to compete because I won the title in April 2023. So I've been Miss Wales for quite a while now. But it is obviously nerve-wracking having a whole nation behind you. And even though we're quite a small nation, we're a mighty one, and I'm carrying, the might of the dragon with me. So I think it's really an honour. How many people can say that they get to represent their country, the biggest pageant in the world? And I think I just want to do it for all the young women in Wales who think, if they see me, they think, well, I could do that. And they don't have to confine to one thing, seeing me as a doctor in training, they can do two roles. You don't just have to fit one aesthetic. And, Miss Wales is representative of everyone in Wales. So I want to do them all proud. Yeah.
That's amazing. And I would say this thing again that it's a huge responsibility because, like I just imagining this thing that you're representing a whole country and, you will be called by your country's name internationally. It's such a huge thing. So
Yeah.
congratulations to you.
Thank you so much. Yes, it's definitely nerve wracking, but it's a once in a lifetime opportunity, and I'm ready to show Wales to the world.
Absolutely. And you will do surely do amazing. And we know this thing that for Miss World, Beauty with a Purpose project is the most important thing. Like I would say this thing always that BWAP is the soul of Miss World. So would you like to elaborate about your BWAP for everyone?
Yes, of course. I think that's what drew me to Miss World is that the beauty with a purpose ethos completely aligns with what I do in my day-to-day life. Saving lives is at the core of what I do, which is why I chose a career in medicine. And I know your country, India, shares the love for healthcare that we do here in the UK. So I think it just made sense for me to base my Beauty with a Purpose project on that because I wanted to empower young people with the tools that I had learned in my degree, but then to use it in the community. So I'm the founder of Exeter Street Doctors. We're a charity that teaches young people how to react and counteract knife crime. And another big part of my Beauty with a Purpose project is Medic Millie Mondays. So they're a series of videos that I do once a month on a Monday. And it's teaching the general public signs and symptoms and red flags to recognize. So things that might be taboo, such as how to check your breasts for lumps, because I didn't actually know how to do this until I got to medicine. But the whole everyone should know how to do that because it really could save your life. So these small snippets of videos, I think if just one person can take away how to recognize something that will save their life, that is so important to me.
That's so amazing. And I would say this thing again that, when you do work for the social service, for social welfare, and for other people, so the happiness that we receive after doing that work, it's unbeatable. And you're doing an amazing work. And hopefully, this project will go very far in the competition.
Yes, thank you so much.
So we have received, I think I have picked the question. Someone is asking this thing that I would love to know that what has been the highlight of your journey as Miss Wales? So was
I
there any specific moment that
yeah.
you remember always as Miss Wales?
Yeah, it's really difficult to pick one. I think I've had so many amazing opportunities as Miss Wales, But my trip to India was probably the highlight so far. So I got to go with my director, Paula, because her charity, A Sisterhood, supports stop acid attacks in India. So I got to meet the most courageous women and I was so inspired. And your country is so beautiful. You have such vibrant people, architecture. You know, I got to see one of the seven wonders of the world by seeing the Taj Mahal. And you can't even put into words how beautiful the Taj Mahal is. So I think that's probably the highlight. But I have had so many wonderful opportunities as Miss Wales.
That's amazing. So were you there at the last Miss World, like in 2024, for watching the Miss World?
No, so I went to India in September 24.
Okay.
Yeah, so we went to Delhi, and that's where I think, and Agra. So Delhi was very, very hot, but very
Yeah.
beautiful. And then obviously we saw the Taj Mahal in Agra as well.
So I also live in Delhi, so I can totally understand it's quite hot.
Yes, completely different to Wales. It was a nice change, but a shock to the system, definitely.
It is, it is. So, as you were talking about your trip to India, so last year Miss World was in India, and I had the honor, to watch Miss World live from the venue in
Yeah.
Mumbai. And I also got the opportunity to meet all the Miss World contestants from last year's edition, and also Julia Maldi, I got to meet. So I would like to ask this thing because everyone wants to ask this thing from this year's contestant. If Miss World happens in India again, how excited are you about it?
Well, I would have the honour of going back, and I think you can never have enough of India. And I think it's just such a show that you put on, and it would be such an honour to have it there in India. I'd have no complaints whatsoever if I was going back there. So fingers crossed.
And as a pageant fan, because I've been following pageants since 2016, so it's almost a decade, I would say. So I badly want Miss World to be back in India as the host
Yeah,
country. Because
I'd love to see you
I
there.
had a blast. Last year I had a blast, while watching the pageant. It was in March 2024, so I had an incredible time, with all the Miss World contestants last year. So I want it back this year.
Yes, definitely. And I know that obviously you're the home of Bollywood, and it was such a show. I only watched it from afar, but I can only imagine what it was like to be there in person.
It was amazing. I had goosebumps when the show started, and I had goosebumps when the show ended as well.
Yeah.
That was amazing. So we received so many questions for you. Again, I have already asked about the BWAP. So talking about your relations with the contestants, so have you talked to your fellow contestants as of now? Like, have you talked to a few other contestants?
Yeah, so I actually took a humanitarian trip to Uganda last summer where I
Yeah.
delivered vaccinations and testing in the community. And I actually messaged Miss Uganda, Natasha, and I said, I'd really love to meet up. And we actually did meet up. So she's the first Miss World sister that I met, and she is just fabulous. We had the best time together. And then I set up a little group chat with Team UK and Ireland, and we're hoping to meet up very soon. So I've been, yes, in contact with quite a few. And Miss America, I messaged her, and she's lovely as well. And I just think
Yeah.
that's a really core part of Miss World is the sisterhood that you're able to develop. So it's just lovely to be able to create relationships and have a best friend in every country in the world.
That's amazing. And trust me, even after Miss World, whatever the results are gonna be, you will surely get your lifetime friendships from the pageant because I always say this thing that I'm not running this stage alone. We have a team behind the stage. So
Yeah,
all of us uh, back then in 2019, we have never seen each other. We met virtually through
yeah,
some of the online pageant pages, pageant competitions. And you won't believe this thing, it's 2025. We met in 2019. It's almost 6 years. We have not even done a single video call. We have never even called each other. We are just talking on Instagram. That's it. But still,
yeah.
we are, in contact with each other. So that's the beauty of pageants. And you will get your lifetime friendships.
Yeah, that's the beauty of social media as well, is that you can keep in touch even after the pageant. And I'd love to visit them in their countries following Miss World as well.
That's amazing. And though I have received so many, I would say, virtual friends from other countries as well. So that's amazing. And they keep on saying this thing that whenever you come to our country, you will have to stay at my house.
Yeah,
So that's amazing.
I'm
Amazing.
yeah looking forward to
So,
it
yeah,
so much.
so I'm sure guaranteeing you that you will get your lifetime friendships. So let's hope for the best. So we have next question for you, and it is about the preparations for the rounds. So there are so many rounds at Miss World, be it the national costume, be it the evening gown, be it the world of dances or the talent competition. So have you started your preparation? Because as you said that you were crowned in 2023, so it's a long time.
Yes, I'm really excited for the sports round. I'm very competitive when it comes to stuff like that. So, I've been working hard in the gym, working towards that. And we started designing the evening gown, so that's really exciting. It's not nearly done yet, so we're just waiting for the announcements really to get that ball rolling. And talent, I'm going to keep a secret for now. I think it's something that isn't seen too often at Miss World. So I am preparing that
Oh,
behind the scenes. But there is so much to prepare for, which is nice because it keeps me very busy alongside my degree.
that's amazing. And because you were crowned back then, and so whenever we are gonna have the host country, like whichever part of the world it is gonna be, you are gonna be in that competitive mode that this is my time, now I have to blast it.
Yes, exactly. I'm just like raring to go. I'm so excited to compete. And I actually, it was very nice that I was able to watch Darcy compete last year. So
Yeah,
I've seen what she went through and she was able to give me some tips and tricks. And, I gained a best friend through Darcy. So it's really nice that I was able to watch her journey and then take on board the
yeah.
things that she learned.
That's amazing. And we are sure that you're gonna do like wonderful in all the rounds. And your hard work is gonna, give you the fruitful results that you're desiring for. So that's gonna be amazing. So we have received next question for you, and this question is about your country. And I have never asked this question to anyone as of now. So this is the
Okay.
question that I received for the first time. So that's amazing. So the question is that if you get a chance to explain or exemplify your country in 3 words, so which 3 words are you gonna choose and why?
I think I would say mighty, bilingual, and I think it's very important to describe it as that because we're very proud to have the Welsh language, and I'm not sure if many other countries will know that Welsh is a language. And I think proud would be another one because everyone in Wales is so patriotic, and I think it's such an honour to be able to speak Welsh. And I'd love to teach the other Miss World girls some Welsh, and that's why I make sure to do my videos bilingually because we are so proud as a nation of that.
That's amazing. You explained your country very well. And why I'm asking this question, though I got this question from one of my passion pages, but I was also asked this question during the college time when I was in a competition that how will you explain your country in 3 words to someone who is not from India? So for a time I was froze, like I was like, how do I explain my country in just 3 words? Like it's gonna be a
I
huge
know.
paragraph. It's quite hard to explain your country because you have so much love for your country, so you can explain 3 words. Then I remember the history of my country, India. Then I answered it like, if I have to describe India in 3 words, I would say engaging, evolving, and empowering. That's what our history has been, and that's what we are doing in current times. So I got standing ovation for that. But at that time, I was like, how do I explain my country in 3 words? It's quite hard.
It is when you've got, so many things going on. But having been to India, I can completely agree with how you described it. They fit perfectly for India.
Thank you so much. So we have one more question for you, and it's about the Q&A part. So with my experience from last year, I got to know this thing that speaking is a very important part for this world, like Q&A part, I would say. Or last year also they had a debating round as well during the
Yeah.
before the pageant competition. So have you done some specific preparation for this specific round? Because if you get the chance to be in top 5 of Miss World at the finals, so at that time it's going to be the battle of the mind, I would say. So
Yeah.
have you done some specific preparation for this round?
Well, I think I'm very lucky in that the career I'm undertaking involves lots of speaking to lots of
Yeah,
different people. So, because it's a patient facing role, I speak to people from all kinds of backgrounds
yeah,
all day, every day. And Miss Wales actually prepared me slightly for that because they have the onstage question as well for their top five.
yeah.
And, I did have a bit of help in the preparation for Miss Wales from my wonderful coach, Emma Jenkins, who was Miss Wales. So, and she's had her own experience with Miss World, so who better to have some coaching from? But I think, doing lives like this and interviews, it's given me a chance to be put on the spot, able to answer questions like describing my country in 3 words. So I think just doing these lives, that's good preparation. But I am lucky that I could talk for the whole of Wales anyway. I do it all day, every day. So yes, I'm looking forward. It would be an honour to reach top five, and I would give it my absolute best for that on stage question.
That's going to be amazing. And I would say this thing that you are an absolute perfect speaker. I would say, like, at least for me, how do I consider someone a good speaker? For me, I think instead of fluency, like fluency is important, but at the same time, I do think that more than fluency, it's the connection that you have with your audience. Like, I focus on that part because one of my teachers told me this thing that when you are holding a mic, so people are not gonna think about your fluency. They are gonna think about that how connected your words are gonna be with them, how connected they are feeling with you. So that
Yeah.
is most important. And if you win Miss World this year, so you're gonna be the representative of the organization for a whole 1 year, and that's gonna be amazing. So you are already having that upper hand in the skill, so we'll surely nail it.
Yeah, I think that's why I like the quote. It's not about perfection, it's about purpose, because the
Yeah,
words don't have to be absolutely perfect when you deliver them. If you're impactful and what you say has meaning, then you can connect with your audience, which is great.
that's so true. So we have next question for you, and it is about your hobbies. Like again, I would like to elaborate this question. So, do you have
Okay.
any funny incident? Do you have any funny incident while performing any of your favorite hobbies? Like I love cooking, so I have so many disastrous incidents while cooking food. So, do you have any kind of funny incidents?
Yeah, so I play touch rugby for a women's team. So it's quite a full-on physical game, as you can
Yeah.
imagine. And I can't even count the amount of times that I have just fallen flat on my face or I've ran straight into someone, I've been thrown right backwards. So I think there's plenty of stories. And if you have watched me play rugby, then you'll be able to think of the times I've ended up on the floor. But I promise I am quite a good player. But yeah, I've spent plenty of time on the floor. So that hobby involves a lot of bruises, but it's a lot of fun and teamwork and building relationships with the women that I play with. Yeah, it's always fun, but I have faced the ground many times. So yeah.
So that's quite natural. And obvious, I would say playing sport, like that's normal. Because when I started cooking, I had so many funny incidents, I would say that I was banned from my kitchen for, I think, 2 weeks. In general terms, if I would say.
I
My
wish
mom
I
just told
could
me
judge
that,
it.
my mom just told me that you're not supposed to enter the kitchen for next 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
I will serve you the food, eat it, and take the
Yeah.
plate, just eat it. And you're not supposed to enter the kitchen for cooking.
Mistakes is how we learn, though, so that's okay.
Like again, I would say this thing that my parents always helped me in, learning from the mistakes. But the mistakes I was doing were quite big.
Yeah.
They just banned me. Okay.
Oh, well, I'm glad you
So we
carried on
have,
trying.
yeah, now I can cook. Like if you come to India, like for Miss World, so I would like, if I had the chance and opportunity, I would surely have some home cooked food for you all. The Indian food.
Oh, that would be. We'd be very lucky to have that from you.
That's amazing. So we have next question for you, and it is about, let me read the question. Okay, so this is the pageant question, I would say. So this question was asked in Miss World 2017 when India won Miss World, Manish Chillar won. So the final question was, which profession deserves the highest salary and why? Like just
Sorry.
imagine that you are on the stage. Okay, I will repeat the question.
Yeah,
So
thank you.
which profession deserves the highest salary and why?
This might be quite a biased answer, but I think training to be a doctor, we're very privileged because we see people right from the beginning of their life to the very end. And we take on such a role to be there, not for just the patient, but the families as well. And I think my day every day is trying to make people better, saving lives, and also making their lives worth living. So, although it is biased, I do believe doctors deserve, quite a lot of commendation from the public, and we live to serve the public. So, to have people recognise that the work we do is vital is a blessing.
That's an amazing answer, and that's how Miss Pearl speak, I would say, because the work and the support that the medical field showed during the time of pandemic as well. Specifically, I'm asking about saying about pandemic because at that time, I would say that the medical field, the doctors, the nurses, the medical staff, the ground staff, I would say, like everyone, they just came out in forefront and they supported the whole society. So if the medical field gets the highest salary as in profession, so that's going to be worth what they deserve.
Yeah, thank you. And having to put a smile on your face, even if you're facing hard times, but you need to be there for other people. It's a
Yeah,
calling in life rather than a job. You've got to love what you do and you've got to love people to be able to follow a career like that.
that's amazing. And just see it. I don't know whether you're able to see the comments, but people are just appreciating your answer. Like they just love your answer on this question.
Oh, that's kind. Thank you.
That's amazing. And very well said again, I would say this thing because it's very important to recognize like all the fields, specifically the medical field, I would say, because healthcare these days is being negotiated a lot. Like people don't consider their health as their priority. They are just thinking that
Yeah.
other things are more important. But at the same time, health is the biggest wealth, I would say, because if you're healthy with your body, only then you can play, only then you can watch television, only then you can eat a lot. If not healthy, so you can't do anything. So health is very important.
Exactly, yeah. I was just saying to my mum the other day how lucky I felt that I'm happy and healthy enough to be able to walk to placement, to be able to do the things I love. You really do have to appreciate your health to appreciate the other things in your life. Top two would be health and love. So I feel if you have both of them, you're a very, very lucky person.
That's so true. So, like before I ask another question, so if you guys have any question for her, just type your question. Ask the question because people are saying this thing that can we ask questions to her. So just type in your question. I will ask all the questions to her. Okay, so we have next question for you. So someone asked this question is like, if Miss World happens in any of like any places, so how are you going to represent your country like in terms of every aspect, not just for the competition, but how are you going to represent your country in terms of culture, in terms of representation? So what is special about Wales that you're going to show to the world?
I'd love to showcase our language because I don't think it gets the appreciation that it deserves. So, even just sharing my language with the other women, the incredible women, I think an exchange of languages is, really a love language if you're able to do that. And that's why in the lead up to Miss World and everything that I post, I try to do it bilingually because I do have a bilingual nation behind me. So, sharing the language will be very, very important through my Miss World journey, but also talking about the National Health Service because we're very lucky that it was a Welsh man who created that, and just celebrating how important that organisation is in Wales and the whole of the UK. I would just like to champion that. And I think it's important to mention that I'm an ambassador for Calon Domestic Violence Services. So being a figure that is a voice for the voiceless is very important in any country, but particularly the Welsh women who I'm able to be a beacon of hope as an ambassador, that I can talk about things that people don't like to talk about because it's everyone's problem. Domestic violence is something that we should all be combating. So I think for the women in Wales who aren't ready or can't talk yet, I will be that person who can champion women's rights and talk about ending gender-based violence. So those are the three things that are super important to me in my journey.
That's so amazing. And again, I would say this thing that that's how a Miss World speak. That was
Thank you.
Yeah, that's amazing. And just see the comments, like people are just appreciating your answer as well. So I hope that you get the opportunity to hold the mic at the finals.
Yes, I would love to and be able to show all the young women in Wales that you can do it. Oh, I think.
That's amazing. And surely, all the hard work that you are doing is going to pay off. And I always say this thing that, if you have worked hard for something, that destiny will surely give it to you. And hopefully, we hope the best for you.
Thank you. Yes, I think if it's meant to be, it will be. What's meant for you won't pass you by. So I'm going to give it my absolute best with the Welsh nation behind me and hope that it pays off.
It will surely. And see, from your answer, people have carved out a word that is being a voice for the voiceless because you use this thing. So, like, it's going to be your, I would say, slogan from your answer from this
Yeah.
world.
I've just created my own slogan now. I'll have to remember that when I'm there.
That's amazing, being a voice for the voiceless, because that's what I think Miss World Organization is looking for. Because when I saw Miss Czech Republic last year, and she is the reigning Miss World, so I had the privilege to talk to her. So she was amazing, and the aura that she had around her, like during the venue, it was amazing to see. And even like her fellow competitors as well was saying the same thing about her, that she is something special. And at the end, she won. So that was amazing.
She is. I had the pleasure of meeting Christina when she came to Wales, and she embodies beauty with a purpose, which is so great to see. She represents the Miss World organisation so well, and she's just a beautiful human inside and out. So it was an honour to meet her.
Yeah, she's so sweet as well. We were eating the food after the Miss World competition. She just came and cut the cake. She was like, "Can I eat something now?"
Oh,
She's so
she is so
sweet.
sweet.
Yeah. We have next question for you, and it's a kind of funny question, I would say. So, if you could have one superpower, so what would it be and why? Like, it can be any superpower if you want to.
I think my superpower, if you can class this as a superpower, would make education accessible for everyone in the world. So I think, young people are the future of the world. If we're able to educate people about health, about finances, educate women where they haven't got access to that right now, we
Yeah.
will build a brighter future for everyone. So making that accessible and free to everyone, that would be that would be a superpower that you couldn't even buy, that would be worth everything. So if I could choose one, it would be that.
That's amazing. And like as you said, education is important, and I always believe this thing that education is so important in life because again, one of my professors taught me this thing, and he is my very dear friend. He calls me as his son, like though we are teacher and student, but he considers me as his son. So he always taught me this thing that education is why so important because you can get success without education as well. You can get success easily or with any other thing, but education will teach you that how to carry forward that success, till the end of your life. Because if you don't know that how to talk, if you don't know how to sit in the society, if you don't know how to use your intelligence in a very proper way, so you will not be able to hold that success very long. But if you're educated, if you have quality education, so you will be able to know that when to speak, when not to speak, how not to speak, So that's very important to be educated in life.
Definitely, yeah.
That's amazing. So we have two last questions for you. So before I ask the second last question, I hope that you are able to see the comments that people are dropping about you. Like they are just appreciating. They just can't stop appreciating you.
Oh, that's so kind. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, someone is asking this question. I just saw it. Like, what will you do to celebrate when you are crowned as Miss World 2025? Okay, that's also important. Like, how will you celebrate your victory?
I know. How do you celebrate something as big as winning Miss World? I think immediately I would have to go and hug my mum, who would for sure be crying in the crowd because I'm, you know, I'm only the woman I am today because of her. I owe a lot of the things I'm able to do to my mum. I'm,
Yeah.
a daughter of a proud single mum, so I think being able to share this with her, you couldn't put a price on it. So the very first thing I would do is run over to her and give her a big hug and thank her for everything she's done for me.
That's I think that's obvious as well, because parents, like family, is the most important thing in everyone's life. And because I also aim to represent India someday in pageants as a contestant. So because I have been following pageants since 2016, so I have always have this situation in my mind that okay, one day I will be winning a pageant for India, and after winning the crown or after winning the title, I would go to my parents
Yeah.
and hug them and just cry in front of them. I finally did it. So I have
Yeah.
always imagined this in my mind, that okay, I will do that. And if not hugging them, just appreciating them, I would eat a lot. I would
Yeah.
eat a lot.
I'm a chocoholic, so I would definitely be snacking on some Cadbury's after that. So I think you need to treat yourself after winning such a big title, don't you? So after I've had my
You
hug
know,
with my mum, I
yeah,
would get some chocolate.
I would do that for sure. Like if it is just time to happen, because my body type is a kind of body that if I eat excessive, so I would be a completely different person next day,
Yeah.
in terms of body. So I have to eat in very moderate and limited quantity. Okay. So okay, we have the last question for you, and second last question for you, and this is, what are you bringing to the table that your country is winning Miss World this year? Like,
So I'm
just imagine that, you are having your PI round, personal interview round, and judges ask you this question. So how will you answer?
I would answer that I have dedicated my life to saving other people's lives, and I would love to accelerate the mission of street doctors and bring it to a global stage as Miss World. Unfortunately, knife crime and violence happens everywhere. It might happen on your doorstep. So I
Yeah,
would continue to empower and educate young people with the tools to react and counteract knife crime and violence, making the streets of Wales, but also the streets all over the world, a safer place. And I would love to carry on working with organisations such as Public Health Wales and the World Health Organization to see how we could better health education for everyone to make sure that we're living longer and healthier lives.
that's an amazing answer. And I had never said this thing for anyone, but I have to say because I think last year I said this thing to Miss World Botswana, Lesigo Chambo, and this year I think I should say to you that you are going to be an asset for Miss World this year.
Oh, thank you so much. That means a lot.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's going to be amazing. I just, again, I would hope this thing that, your country gets recognition or deserving of recognition that you guys deserve. Because in pageantry, we have seen something that, the Satch Factor countries are getting the chances. But I do feel this thing many a times that all the countries should get that recognition that they deserve in terms of representation. So I hope that Wales gets what they deserve.
Thank you. Yeah, it was actually 50 years ago that the last Welsh woman, Helen Morgan, won. So it would be, really the stars aligning if 50 years later I was able to take the Miss World crown.
That's going to be amazing. So considering that thing, we have the last question for this live, and this question is quite difficult, I would say, difficult for me at least. If someone asks me this question, so who's your favorite Miss World as of now?
I was actually, you mentioned Manushi Chichler earlier, didn't you? I think she is such an inspiration. But I really do look up to Carolina because I think she holds such a presence and she is such a strong woman. And, I envy her for having such confidence and radiating the beauty from within and being able to make such a difference to young people's lives. And I think, she did the Miss World organization very proud during her reign. But every single woman has brought something different to the Miss World title, which is I think what's beautiful about having someone new every year, you bring something fresh. So it's very, very difficult to choose, but I do look up to Carolina.
That's amazing. And she did an amazing job as the winner of Miss World from Poland. And that's
Yeah.
amazing because if someone asked me this question, so I won't be able to answer this question because, like, again, from India, we have six Miss World winners, so
Yeah.
I can't choose one from them.
Yeah.
And even like non-Miss World winners, like, I can't choose one. I love the reigning Miss World. I love Carolina. I love Megan Young from Philippines as well. So I can't
Yeah.
choose one. It's so
They're
difficult.
all such amazing women that it's really difficult to choose one, isn't it? But
Yeah, since even like since the first Miss World to the reigning Miss World, it's quite difficult because everyone is different in their own senses. Like everyone has brought something new and something remarkable in their own sense to Miss World organization. We can't choose one.
no, I know. But I think if I was pushed to it, I gave the best answer I could. But they are all incredible women, and they're someone to look up to, and hopefully I can bring something fresh to that title.
Hopefully that you will be able to join in their legacy as the Miss World winners.
Yes.
That's amazing. So we are done with all the questions for this live. Like we are going to do one last segment, and that is what if you win. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to announce this thing that Miss World 2025 is Wales, and you have to give your winning reaction. Like, how would you react on stage if you win this year?
I think I would recreate what happened in Miss Wales. I was literally like this. And I have a photo of that exact moment. And I just can't, you cannot believe that your name was just called and, all the hard work coming to this point. So that would probably be my face again. Just,
Okay, so let's just capture it again. I would announce this thing like as a host, imaginary host of Miss World, that Miss World 2025 is Wales, and you have to give a winning reaction. So hopefully we will see that reaction right now.
yeah. That's
Okay,
what I would
let's
literally.
do this. Let's do this. Okay, let's do this. Okay, we should capture this moment. So I will post it after the live.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of Miss World 2025 is Wales. Woo!
And then I think I'd start crying and I'd see my mum who was also crying.
And that's obvious as well. As you were saying that this is every woman's dream. And again, I would say this thing that, that to represent your country is a huge thing. Yeah, like to be called by your country is internationally, right? And then to win for your country, as you said, that it was 50 years ago, then, Wales was on the world map. And if you bring that moment back to your country, so that's going to be amazing.
Oh, it really would be life changing. And you are carrying a nation on your back, being able to wear your country's name. So it's an honor that, not a lot of people get to experience. So I'm so excited to do it.
And excitement is valid. So we are done with all the questions for this live. It was an honor to have you on board. So thank you so much for this live, and we wish the best of luck to you for Miss World. Hopefully, we'll ace all the rounds, and specifically the sports day round.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure to speak to you.
Thank you so much, and have a good day ahead.
Yes. And you. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.